FT fam, you might
That's
have
wrong.
a boring old...
We're here at Mayday. What's up, everybody? Trevor May Baseball. How we doing? How is it hanging? Hello, Twitch. I see you. I see you there, too. You're here. Everybody's here. Everybody's ready to go. I'm going to bring up the YouTube chat here so we can get everybody involved. And we will be getting really quickly into our next segment. I just realized I didn't do the stinger at the beginning of the last one, so we will be doing this before we get into it. How's everybody doing? Welcome back in. We have some slight adjustments we're going to be doing today on the next, the second hour here of the show. Moving forward, nastiest pitches, guys. There are a lot of them. You guys give so many that we're going to start curating them. Excuse me. We're going to start curating them a little bit more often so that I won't have seen them, but we also won't have 500 to do. So what we are going to do is we're going to start doing nastiest pitches regularly every other week and then turning that into like a kind of a compilation so that it can be like, it can live on YouTube and then we can watch it later. I think that's the best way to do it. Right now, we've been trying to figure out what to do with it, so we're going to do that with it now, and that's why we have Going Deep going into the second hour. Hello, Charlie Kurtz. Charles Kurtz, Nug Master. How's everybody doing? Welcome in. Guys, if you have not seen the new YouTube video, Why They Call Us the LOL Mets, you should go do that. Because it's one of my favorite videos today, and you know, we just got so many things. We got so many things going on, so many plans, so many ideas for projects. The team is growing. I do have a few things that I will be announcing over the next couple weeks. Just ways for you to get more content, and then also be able to like get more. Basically, what I'm trying to do is figure out. I like to do fun, like, oh, these are just goofy baseball stories, like the literal frivolous stuff, right? But I also like talking about stats and doing breakdowns and doing analysis on players. So on weeks that maybe I don't do as much analysis, I still do the analysis kind of in the background. I've been writing, like, I do like little blog posts and stuff. So I'm working on places for that stuff to be. So if you like all the technical stuff, you can go somewhere else where a lot more of that will be. Maybe a little less curated and just more brain dump, but like if that's what you're into, that's what you're into, right? So I want to make that available. I'm working on that, but just be patient for me. More information on that in the next couple weeks. And also podcasts and all that kind of stuff. Things are getting cleaned up and more consistent, and I'm having a really good time. So thank you everyone for the support on the channel here. And moving forward, I'm really excited to keep bringing you really great stuff. Also, I am doing Sunday Night Baseball, the alt cast, the stat cast, 6 of 8 weeks in July and August. I will have those dates on the next newsletter. So if you guys actually don't want to get my newsletter, go to IamTrevorMay.com and sign up, please. And it'll tell you which day. It's ESPN2. We do the nerdy way. We talk about it. But those shows are going to have to move to a different day, probably Tuesdays on those weeks, because I'm flying to New York City to do them, and it sucks butt. All right, let's do a little going deep. We're going to talk a little bit about trades, and let's hop right into it. I just got a comment in the chat, which I wanted to hit real quick. Trevor, you should play Blitzball. For those of you who don't know, the warehouse games, Blitzball is what the John Boy guys do. And let's just say that plans might be in the works. Like I said, going to New York City, 6 of 8 weeks. What better time, you know what I mean? So we'll see. But that should line up pretty well with my other project that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. All right, let's talk about this today, going deep. Juan Soto. I know he's been in the news a lot lately. We talk about Juan Soto constantly. Is he running hard? Why didn't he catch that ball in the corner? Why didn't he want to be a Yankee? Why is everyone so mean to him? Is this what it's going to be like for 15 years? LOL Mets, I get. Okay, so we're not here to talk about that stuff. What we're talking about is the 2 times that Juan Soto got traded, once from the Nationals and then once from the San Diego Padres, and how the other sides of those trades have panned out thus far. I think you'll find it pretty interesting. I don't think it's often that trades work out, benefit both sides like these type of trades do, but then we will just have maybe an open conversation a little bit about why these trades even happened in the first place, because I remember being a little bit. Shortstop C.J. Abrams, left-handed pitcher Mackenzie Gore, outfielder James Wood, outfielder Robert Hassel III, right-handed pitcher Harlan Susana, and first baseman Luke Voigt. Famously, it was Luke Voigt and not Eric Hosmer, because Hosmer basically was like, no, you go. That's mostly what happened. He wouldn't waive his no trade, but it was pretty funny. I mean, that's what you have it for. That's the type of thing you do. So how did this trade, at least as of May 25th, yesterday, how has this trade panned out? Now, I apologize. I usually put the graphics up with all the numbers on it, but I'm going to read them to you because I ran out of time. Okay, so it was 6 players for 2. As we know now, the Nationals currently have Josh Bell, but once this happened, this is how it broke down, right? Juan Soto, while he was with the Padres, had a 7 B WAR, which is nice. It was a year and a half with the Padres. Putting up 7 WAR is a very, very good year. That is what you expect, right? That is what Juan Soto is meant to give you. Maybe like he could be like a little bit better. Like 8 WAR would have been probably like peak, but like 7 WAR, that's a really good bat that is helping you right now. And they got it. They were good. They played well. They went all the way to the NLCS his first year. So like I would say, more or less, they got what they were trying to get, especially because he wasn't not crazy expensive because he was on a contract year. And then Josh Bell, who was having a great year, yeah, he went to the Padres and only had a half WAR or negative .5 WAR, did not hit well when he was a Padre. But by all accounts, he was playing really well and he should have been. So I liked the trade at the time. However, on the other side, the lasting value that the Nationals are getting is quickly eclipsing the value that the Padres got that year, right? This is the trade-off, and this is it working exactly as intended. So as of right this moment, C.J. Abrams is their starting shortstop. He was an all-star last year, and he has been worth 8.7 B WAR in that same amount of time. So more than Soto. Well, actually, more than Soto, but he had 1 more year. So we're not counting the Yankees year, so take that with a grain of salt. But he's been very good. Mackenzie Gore has put up a 4.4 B WAR, and he's leading the league. He is an ace, and he's leading the league in strikeouts this year. So they have their starting shortstop, and they have their number 1 pitcher currently right now, the top 2 guys in that list. Let me throw another name out there, James Wood. He is probably going to be the best player out of all of them, and he could have production up there around a Juan Soto on any given year, in my opinion. Now, he's still really young, and he's still yet to show it, but he's been very good since he's been there. Good for 3.2 B WAR by himself. And then Robert Hassel III just debuted. So they have 4 guys from this 6 that are in the big leagues right now with them. That usually is unheard of. Usually you get 2. They have 4. Now, I haven't seen Hassel play yet. I believe he only has like 4 at-bats. But having them up is incredible. Harlan Susana, I don't know if he's hurt or if he's in the minors, so we haven't really seen him. But Luke Voigt was worth a negative, or no, Luke Voigt is out of, he's either in the minors or out of baseball now. I haven't heard his name in a while, and he has a 0.1 B WAR while he was there too. So that basically this trade equals out this way. Juan Soto and Josh Bell provided 6.5 B WAR for the Padres, and so far these 6 have provided 16.4 B WAR to the Nationals with control of all of them. So all these guys are controllable for like 3 or 4 more years. Rizzo and the Nationals, I cheer you. That was a very, very good trade. And I think you got a lot of guys who are going to make you a competitive team, and they're this close to being pretty scary again. So I'd say right away, Padres won for that first half year. Cool. But since the Nationals are winning this one. So that leads us to the second trade. This is when he went, Juan Soto that is, went from the Padres to the Yankees with Trent Grisham, which Trent Grisham is now creating more value for the Yankees, which is an interesting proposition. In exchange, we had Michael King, Drew Thorpe, Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez, and Kyle Higashioka go over, okay? So Higgy went there for a year. He became a free agent. He actually played pretty well. Good for a 1.4 B WAR as a Padre. Vandy Vasquez is currently with him for the 2.4 B WAR for the Padres. Brito is worth a 0.2. He's thrown some innings. Michael King's a 5.4 B WAR. But the big caveat, the big exciting thing is Drew Thorpe ended up getting flipped for none other than Dylan Cease. So I would say their top 2 pitchers now in the Padres were acquired because of a trade for Juan Soto. So once again, the value goes to the Padres. So you add in the Padres getting Juan Soto for those 6 WAR and then flipping him again and then getting another 13.7 total WAR. Tip of the cap, bro. Wow, like that's a savvy move. But I will say this, the Yankees, what'd they get? A World Series appearance from Juan Soto for a year with 7.9 B-WAR for the Yankees. That is that is an elite season. They got exactly what they wanted. And this year, Trent Grisham's got 1.4 WAR, 1.6 overall, but 1.4 this year, and he's becoming a stud. So the Yankees are winning this one too. Though it's only worth 9.5 B-WAR, that's what happens when you get prospects for big leaguers usually. Big leaguers go up, they get the B-WAR right away, and then all you got way more minor leaguers, so if you get 4 of them come up, obviously you're gonna get more. But like, this one comes out to 13.7 the Padres have gotten and traded off for 9.5, which is just general value, but then you add in the fact that Juan Soto helped get them to the World Series. They had a chance to win a World Series, which is why they traded for him. So like, mission accomplished. Mission accomplished across the board. You just don't see them like this, but technically in terms of overall value, Padres W. So it's very rare that the prospect side is the one that has the most value in both cases, but Juan Soto seems to be the catalyst. So, do you want your team to get better? You should probably just trade Juan Soto. It's that simple, huh? Now, one question I have, and I'm sure a lot of you had it, is why was Juan Soto traded twice in 2 years? Like, why do you guys think that is? I think it comes down to 2 things. I think we're seeing a little bit of it come out now. There's always mixed reviews on teammates, like people like him being around Juan, honestly. Not mixed, I would say mostly positive, but I think there's times where he's a little like standoffish. I don't know if that has anything to do with wanting to, like San Diego, for example, trading him, was there too many cooks in the kitchen? Because I think there was too many cooks in the kitchen. It's like putting 5 All-Stars on an NBA team. There's only so many shots you can take, right? Like if you put 5 All-Stars around Kobe Bryant, suddenly you only have 2 All-Stars and 3 role players because there's not enough shots because Kobe's going to take 70 of them. So I felt like that's what was going on. Remember, they wildly underperformed Soto's full year there, and then at the end of the year, they rattle off like 14 to 15 wins or something to get like really close to the playoffs but not quite make it. I think him, Manny, Tatis, and Bogarts was just too much, in my opinion. That's just me anecdotally guessing. But what I think was most likely happening was he's not on a long-term contract and he's the greatest player ever. They can get a huge haul. Not the greatest player ever, sorry. He's one of the best players of our generation right now, and he's very young and very good and impact immediately. So there's value out the yang for that, and I think they traded him because, I don't know, they could get 5 guys for him both times. That's probably mostly what it was. They're like, hey, he's peaked and we're not going to re-sign him, so let's trade him. So I'm not going to go out here and say there's personality problems or something, but there was probably elements of that. It didn't click. It wasn't super. It was one of those things like, we got to get this done because it's a perfect situation. Probably not, and that just made it easier to do the trade. But I think it's just because capitalizing on those trades was perfect timing. It's like the opposite of trying to trade for Paul Skeens right now. It's just not the right time. It was the right time for Juan Soto. So we'll see. AK, for example, says he doesn't like not being the biggest name. And I'm going to click on this, actually. There's a comment right here. He doesn't like not being the biggest name in the room. I think there's something there. Now, I don't know. I don't think that's all the time, but I think there's something there. There's a little bit of like confidence. I mean, you don't do the shuffle and stuff if you don't have that ego a little bit. Which also makes him good. So like it's a trade-off. You just got to keep it kind of balanced. And unfortunately, if you have ego, you have to perform all the time. That's why I tried not not to have any outward ego and just make fun of myself constantly, so that way, if things went bad, then I could just laugh it off. Because it's a defense mechanism. So anyway, Juan Soto. If you want to be better, if you want your team to be better, get Juan Soto and then trade him. Or don't yell at me. It's what the data says. Okay. All right, let's move on once again, guys, boys and girls. I believe we have another question coming in. And then we're going to get into Internet Says. So, are you excited? We're going to do some community engagement right now. I need you guys to start commenting. So everyone who has not participated in the chat, I need you to get near a keyboard soon so that we can work, so you can help your boy, all right? I got my pen. It's a permanent marker because I forgot my pen at home. So here we are. All right. I believe I have a question here, though. Ah, yes. We had a question from the Discord once again, and this one's only partially baseball related. Actually, I don't want this to be big. I want medium. Yeah, let's go medium. Okay. Chinese Tiger says, just saw the comments on the LOL Mets video that Trevor played World of Warcraft. That's what WoW is, by the way, if you didn't know. For all of you, those of you that are just tuning out, that is World of Warcraft, one of the greatest video games ever made, though I don't play it anymore. So, what expansion did you start playing, and what race, class, spec did you play? So, a little bit of background information. I did a video about the Mets, and in the background of the video, the intro, I have a piece of art that looks eerily similar to a Philadelphia Phillies logo. Those of you who don't know, Mets fans hate the Phillies. And you know who else hates Mets fans? Philly fans. So they hate each other. It's so funny. They're literally carbon copies of the same people that hate each other. Sorry to tell you guys outside looking in, you guys are like twins. You should be like hugging. But you also bring that same energy, that head, twins headbutt. And it's all good fun. That's the way I see you guys. That said, that piece of art in the background is actually not a Phillies logo. It's a crossover piece of art between classes in World of Warcraft, or like, I guess they're guilds classes in World of Warcraft and baseball teams. So they're the Netherlight Priest, and the P says Priest, but it looks like the Phillies logo. I also have the Acarus Death Knights, which are, surprise, the Yankees, and the Demon Hunters were the Mariners. So it actually isn't a Phillies logo, but I was drafted by them, so you guys need to know that. As for what expansion I played, I started in vanilla, but I very end of vanilla, but I got to the max level in Burning Crusade, and I played Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King religiously, and then I believe, what came next? Warlords? I did not play Warlords because I was playing professional baseball. Legion was the one I played a lot after that, and then I lost track of all the other ones. There's about 1 billion of them. Misted Pandaria is in there somewhere. But I played a warrior. I leveled a Fury Warrior, first thing I did. And then I became Prot, so I was a tank for a really long time. But my main character quickly became, once I joined a guild, a Holy Paladin, and I blew up those heal meters. And I would play World of Warcraft to this day if I didn't have an 8-month-old baby. So that's what I played. I was a warrior and a paladin. I was all played all day, baby. Let's get it, fam. Boom. So, great question. I always love to talk about video games when I get a chance. Okay, so we're gonna do nastiest pitches next week. So if you keep putting in the nastiest pitches, I will have the team pick out like the 25 best, and we will do a real reaction compilation. We will set it up so it goes more smoothly, because I feel like the last couple of weeks we've been just kind of like putzing around a little bit. So I have 2 questions for you, chat, and if you want to join the Discord to give these answers, this would be really helpful. Actually, if the mods would do me a favor and go into the Discord and set up maybe a forum post where people can reply to it, I want to know what your favorite celebrations of all time in baseball have been, because This came to my attention when that Pacers game against the Knicks. Sorry, Knicks fans out there, if that's PTSD, even though you guys have won the last one. When Halliburton hit the choke, did the Miller choke, which was, I mean, you could tell he'd been waiting to do it, and he hit it, even though it was a 2 and he thought it was a 3. Neither here nor there, still hit the thing, and I was like, that was just it's a good celebration. This is one of the greatest comebacks of all time. Of course, you got to celebrate like this. But what are the equivalents in baseball? I want to know what you guys have to say, and we want to go and get a compilation of all of them and do a ranking. So I need your guys' feedback there in the Discord. That'd be great. It'll be in the forums posts, so just go check those out. That'd be really helpful. And also, last week, I need your feedback on this too, and we can do this in the chat. So you guys get your fingers ready. I want to make sure we capture some of this. David, if you could do me a favor, DK, do me a favor. Just grab some of these comments, the ideas thrown out in chat that we're not going to post when we do AMA later. So just like, they're just going to sit there. We're not for after the thing, so I can collect them. That would be helpful if you could just star the ones that are the most interesting. But I announced talked a little bit about my intention for a new project. Trevor Throws 100. Now, what do we think Trevor Throws 100 is? What do you guys think of that is? Good guess. It's me getting in shape to try to throw 100. So I'm going to set a goal. I'm going to set a goal that by the end of the World Series, I want to throw a pitch on camera with a velocity gun on me at 100 miles an hour. Now, it's not crow hop and it's not a pull down, it's a off the rubber. That said, I can just throw mechanics out of I'm just gonna throw as hard as I can. It doesn't matter where it goes, it doesn't have to be a strike, it doesn't have to be anything. I'm not gonna face hitters, I'm not gonna pitch in games, I'm just gonna try to train to throw hard, and that is it. Try to stay healthy. What does that look like? What do I have in this body? Because 1, I'm fat, and 2, I'm fat. I'm so fat. I don't want to be fat anymore. And that's what I know to do. But also, I'm 35. I've still got my youth. I know that after this, things are going to go down, and they're going to go down fast as my son gets. I want to take my son to the baseball field when he's little, put him on, have him hang out with Kate and sit there and watch me throw. That's what I want to do. Have I thrown 100? I have. I have hit 100. I have hit 100. My highest average fastball for any period of time, there was a month in 2019 where my average fastball was 97.9, and the hardest pitch I ever threw in a game was 99.8. But again, I didn't throw as hard as I could. 100% chance this ends with Tommy John. If I need TJ, I will just not get it. I'll just have a broken elbow for the rest of my life. I've had it once already. Guys, we're gonna take this one step at a time, and I'm not gonna push myself to where I hurt myself. If I don't get it, if I get 98, I'll take 98, but 100 is like this pie in the sky goal. We're gonna go for it. So what I wanna know from you in the chat is, along the way, because I'm gonna document this thing. My goal is to do 5 episodes, 5 documentary style vlogs type episodes, 20 to 30 minutes over the summer. That's my goal. To release these. A lot of them might be released towards the end of the summer. The finale might not be released until the end, but we're gonna go for it. What would you want to see? I have some ideas. What parts of the process do you want to know about? Do you want to know about the ARM program? Do you want to know about the conditioning, the workouts, everything? I'm gonna hire someone to write me the program. I'm gonna hire a dietitian. I'm gonna hire a PT. I'm gonna hire a personal trainer. All people that are in baseball or creators in baseball, and I'm gonna get them to come in and consult and be part of it as well. I'm gonna talk about recovery. I'm gonna talk about icing, ice baths, all this stuff, and we're gonna train as if I'm getting ready to go into a major league game, but I'm not. So I wanna know what you guys want to know. I wanna know what I need to make sure I get included in the videos, because that's what we're doing. We're planning them out now, and I'm gonna start the throwing program in the next week or 2. So I want to know what you want to see. So as we move forward here through the stream, just hit me in the comments of the chat of either platform. David will grab them for me, and we'll take. I have a lot of stuff written down, but I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything so everyone gets what they want out of it. I want to know how many total pitches you throw throughout the entire challenge. So I'm going to track everything. Also, do you guys want to know like actual fitness data? Do you guys want to know about like how much sleep, what my VO2 max is, HRV? Like I'm going to be weighing myself every week because my goal is to like lose weight and like get in premium shape too. I want to see how my body changes because I don't know. It's going to be harder because I'm older. But I think how many pitches to get it would be. I think that's a great idea. How many pitches? How many throws to get there total? We can do pitches and throws to where like now I'm trying to throw hard. I don't know. It's up to you. Just use a 3-ounce ball. I'm not going to cheat. How much does Tommy John surgery cost without insurance? Oh, I'm sure it's bankrupt status. Sure, it's bankrupt status. Yeah. All right, thanks guys. Appreciate it. Yes, fitness data. Okay, just keep putting that stuff in. I track everything on a Whoop, guys. I have so much tracking. I have so much stuff tracked from my last season and my playing. There's a lot here that I could share. So anything that you could possibly think of, just write it in the chat as for the rest of the stream, okay? We have 32 minutes left in the show, so I want to know. Thank you. I know I took a lot of time to do this, but it's something I'm really excited. Like it's going to be really fun. I even have a net here, which I kind of want to show you. I usually have the wide angle, but I have a net here. I'm going to be throwing in the studio sometimes into a net just to get my throwing in. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And then Danny also posted in the Twitch chat the Discord link to the forum to put in your favorite celebrations, and we will revisit those next week, okay? All right, let's get into internet status because there's some silly stuff on the internet happening in the baseball world, and then we will just get into some question and answer, okay? Lots of questions. If you've got questions and things you want to get into, I have the ability to do it, baby. Also, if you're wondering, Trevor, why are you so sweaty looking? It's because it's summer now, and it's hot in here, and I'm going to have to fix that somehow. That's a problem for another day. All right, let's get into it. A little bit of drama on the internet. Let's go. This is Mark James. Anyone who is in the Seattle area may know this person. He is a local sports radio host, and he went on a little bit of a weird tirade that a lot of people weren't really anticipating recently. Shout out to Henry, producer Henry in there for cueing me in on this, or I wouldn't have seen it. Let me just read you what it says here. Former Mariners starting pitcher and current radio TV broadcaster Ryan Roland Smith was criticized by radio host Mark James on May 21st. So, ex-player Ryan Roland Smith, anyone who knows Ryan Roland Smith knows that he is Australian, so he has an accent. That's what the problem is going to be basically built around this. James responded to a listener-submitted text message taking aim at the native Roland Smith's native Australian accent, which James doubled down on. I can't understand what he says James. You have this Aussie guy. I feel like I'm watching Australian Reels football. It's so out of place. I don't get it. What? He's just Australian. What do you mean? When he says nar, it's no. Fixed it. But after reading another text, James mocked Roland Smith's pronunciation of fastball and broadcast, claiming that that's not baseball before asking for a barf bag. Christ, like, what did he do? What did he do? Do you just not like him as a person? This seems, there's gotta be. This seems weird, okay? So let me ask you this, guys. And then there was later an apology. So he apologized later. And Roland Smith says, no one's more self-deprecating than me. I beg to differ, Ryan. I bet you I can self-deprecate with the best of them. If you ever hear me on the radio or TV, no one makes fun of myself more than I do. Come to the most self-deprecating country on the planet. That's true, though. Aussies are very self-deprecating. So he was like, thank you for your support. He was really cool about it, but this kind of brings me to a little bit of a thing that I wanted to talk to you about right now. We got anti-Australian prejudice before GTA 6. Yeah, but it's coming. It's coming. Just be patient. This is an interesting topic, I think, and this is something that I've wanted to talk about a while. So here, let me just get on my soapbox real quick. I can't stand up or my head will go off the top. We live in a world of media right now where people just yell at each other all the time because it's the way that people pay attention to you, okay? The Stephen A. Smith effect, the more outrageous the things you say, the more you are platformed by people thinking they need to engage you, right? It's been set up in a way where bad actors can just like get away with stuff and then just have plausible deniability. Like, I never claimed to, and then whatever, move on. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I feel that pretty acutely. We had the RG3 thing and Ryan Clark yelling at each other on Twitter, and the longest tweets I've ever seen about how Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. I'm just like, guys, you don't need a personal attack about this. It's just like, who's better? Whatever. Like, it's just sport. Like, relax, right? But they were doing it because engagement was part of it too. That is part of it. Whether or not they are conscious of that, they're like, this must be good because it works, and that's not true. You know, we have the. I don't know how online a lot of you are. I'm very online. But there was that Manosphere podcaster who had a test for a woman because he needs to be misogynistic. You can't open that pickle jar. And then she gave it back to him and he couldn't open it. It was one of the funniest FAFO moments I've ever seen. But like that stuff, I'm like, why do I know who this guy is? I hate that. I miss 2008 when that guy was just a dude yelling in a bar that everyone was ignoring. But now there's the internet, so we listen to him. I don't know. So it's just like everyone, there's all this noise around, and it feels like you have to come in and be like, no, it's this way, just to get people to listen to you. And trust me, look at me, I'm here. It's hard. It's really hard to navigate it, but it seems like that's what's happening. And sometimes you're just kind of an asshole. You're just being an asshole because you think it's going to push your career forward. And I think it's Mark Zuckerberg's fault. That's all I'm saying. So, be kind to your neighbor. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if you guys saw the pickle jar thing, though. It genuinely is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's hilarious. The excuses this dude, like, it was great. We all know that guy. We'll just say, we all know the guy who's like, I'm tough as hell. And then he gets punched. He's like, you sucker punched me. He's that guy. He's that guy. Anyway, he sucks, and I don't want to talk about him anymore. All right, next up, Josh Hart plays MLB The Show, and then they win Game 3. With the Knicks down 2-0, the Pacers ahead of Game 3, which Knicks went on to win 106-100 after being down by as many as 20 points. Josh Hart was asked how he spent his day off. I just started my player on the show yesterday. It's called The Road to the Show. Josh, come on, man. Gotta know the vernacular. I was grinding. I'm in AAA right now. So Josh Hart plays MLB The Show on his off days. To that, I have to say, what's an off day? No, I think that's awesome. I love when NBA players play baseball, by the way. I love when NBA players play baseball. I feel like baseball is like the ugly stepchild of all the sports generally when it comes to like coolness. I think that we don't have as much of that cool stuff. So shout out to Josh Hart. Raise your hand if you guys also play MLB The Show. And how are we feeling about 25? I've heard it's pretty fun. I heard it's a good time. Our last story here before we get into our AMA is an interesting one, and I am going to try to, I'm going to try to explain this the best way I can. So this is a tweet from MLB Jersey Numbers. It is an account that basically, whenever any player comes up or down or whatever, changes their number, they report on it. That's all they do. So this is not satire, it's not nothing, that's all this account does, okay? So we've established that. Catcher Reese McGuire will wear number 20, last worn by infielder Miles Mastrobuoni in 2024. Now, those of you who aren't familiar with Mr. McGuire, this seems like I don't get it. I don't understand. But let me explain some of the meminess, the meme, the irony, the meme, okay? Reese McGuire, who was called up by the Cubs from AAA on Sunday's game, he's going to wear number 20. the last one to wear number 20 was Miles Mastroeni, like I just said. He is now a Seattle Mariner. In February of 2020, McGuire was charged with misdemeanor count of indecent exposure after he was found masturbating in his car in a shopping center parking lot in Dunedin, Florida. So this is right before spring training started. That's public knowledge, and it happened. A cop pulled up next to his car, saw what he was doing, and so now, that was in 2020. The last guy to wear it was Mastroeni. Is the puzzle coming together? Good. So it feels on purpose. It feels like it was on purpose. And if it is on purpose, if this was something Reese McGuire did, now that's self-deprecation right there. That's the stuff. Isn't that interesting? Maybe he's trying to head off the jokes by owning it. I mean, I think that's one of those situations where he should. You guys might remember he had a little bit of a run-in with Cal Control last year where Cal was yelling that stuff at him. So maybe this is just like, he's like, you know what, I'm going to lean in. There's a thing we have in baseball, especially when you're a rookie. If rookies are resistant to the light hazing or the crap they get poked at them, if they're resistant, they're like, hey, we're going to do that. You'd be so bad. Like, they just do it more. Veterans just do it more. It's like, it's a rite of passage. If you can't handle it, you don't get to move on. And of course, that can get out of hand sometimes. But for the most part, it's usually harmless. And so what I found, and what most guys get, if you just lean into it a little bit, if you just do the thing and just try really hard at it, they just get off your case. And they put their arm around you, and then you're part of the group. And then you're not asked to do the weird stuff anymore. And that's just how it is. So maybe that's what he's doing. And if that's the case, then tip of the cap. Tip of the cap. So I'm glad we know that, guys. From the Rockies, right? Yeah, no, yes. All right, we had another question. We did 3 questions from the chat, and this is to go all the way back. Just to remind you guys, in the comments, if you do the all-out training for your pitching to see if you can hit 100 miles an hour before the World Series, are you going to record the regiment and results as well as any mechanical assessments changes you're making along the way? Yes, and we will also, I am going to have a system where you can follow along. So how this whole thing's going to work, by the way, is I am going to have basically like a Bible. Like, I'm going to make a Bible that has all the programs in it, and all I have to do is follow them. They're going to be dated and planned out, and that's all I have to, like I'm doing rehab or something. And then that way I'll have a digital version that I'll just update for you guys. I mean, honestly, I'm going to make a prop, and then the digital version will be put up publicly, so you can like keep track of where we're at and how things are progressing, what my top velos are before the episodes come out. So yes, again, if there's anything specific you want to know, please make sure to put it in the chat. And if you forget and don't get it in this show, go put it in the Discord, please. Maybe we can make another text channel for that or something. I don't know. So great question. We will be talking about mechanics and recovery and all this stuff, everything, and even things that my goal is to learn new stuff along the way as well. All right, cool. All right, we have a crazy fact of the day for you today. Today's crazy fact of the day comes courtesy of Jake Peavey, ex-pitcher, ex-legend for the Boston Red Sox. Jake Peavey, former Red Sox pitcher Jake Peavey, has a full-size replica of Fenway in his Southern Falls plantation in Alabama. The 2,300 plus acre property is open to public tours. So if you ever want to get on the field at Fenway, maybe just try Alabama. Now, that's awesome. That's awesome. Jake Peavey is a real one. He is a true lover of the game of baseball, and he built Fenway on his property. I think that's pretty cool. There's just so many Fenways everywhere. You notice that? Like, Fenway's always the one everyone chooses. Another fun story about Greg Peavey. I heard this, not Greg Peavey, sorry, that's a different person, Jake Peavey. I heard this secondhand, anecdotally. from a guy named Scott Diamond. Scott Diamond made his big league debut against Jake Peavey when Jake Peavey was a San Francisco Giant, I believe. So Diamond's on the road, and he comes out, and he's warming up, and he's the away pitcher, so he's throwing in the bottom of the inning, and it's a day game, and about 14 minutes before the game, he's going to get on the mound. He looks over, and Peavey still hasn't come out yet. He's like, what happened? So about 10 minutes before the game, it turns out that both Buster Posey and Jake Peavey got the time wrong. They thought the game was at 1:30, or no, they thought the game was at 1, and it was at 12:35. So they come running out, and he's got his gear on, and they're playing catch as they're running, and he just quickly gets going and gets ready in about 10 minutes and goes out and pitches, and he gives up like 6 runs in the first inning and gets pulled. and Diamond threw well and got his first big league win. So I thought you guys would enjoy that. But he's an all-time great. Sometimes you just mess up. But like when you have your routine, you can kind of like go into the cold tub or the hot tub or something, and people can't find you. Which, yeah, it's tough out here in the streets. It's tough out here in the streets. But yeah, Jake Peavey, what a guy, And I also heard that he has sight issues, so I hope that's not too bad for him. But I mean, that's cool. It's cool as hell, and you can go see it. So go see it. All right, guys. That concludes our script for the day. And now it's time for me to answer all of your questions. Anything you guys want to AMA, ask me anything about the current baseball. We want to look something up. You want to take on something, let me know down in the comments. Or you guys just want to talk. You just want to chat. Because I love just chatting about baseball. Never going to do this. I don't stream on Twitch like in a video game way. I don't get to do just chatting anymore. And I miss it. I miss you guys. Yes, it is a good time to be back, cool dude. So let's get right into the Ask Me Anything portion of the show. What's B-War? From Danny from like an hour ago. Actually, I don't want to, I'm going to go medium here. We'll go medium, and then I want to turn off video. Do I? Ooh, we'll leave that up. All right, cool. What is B-War? B-War is Baseball Reference wins above replacement. Basically, it's a number that tells you how many wins your play was worth for your team in general. It's a very complicated situation, but it's basically what it says is, this is how many more wins your team has because you were on the team as opposed to a league average player across the board. So positive number means you're above average, negative number means you're below average in terms of wins. And that it's an aggregate number that a lot of teams use to value their players. And so Baseball Reference, they do one that is based on statistics that actually happened. And Fangraphs, on the other hand, has a WAR number that is based on, like, it's predictive. Like, what do they think your WAR is gonna be if you produce at certain levels? So that's why we use B-WAR, because it's what happened. So I know, it's wildly interesting. Fun fact, when I used to work with a guy named Scott Diamond who allegedly ended up robbing the office I worked for. That's not a question, but it is funny. I was wondering what Scott was up to these days. Evidently robbing. Hey Trevor, quick question. If you don't mind, what do players tend to do during rain delays? Thank you so much for asking that question. Rain delays are the worst. So there's a few things about rain delays. I hated rain delays for one major reason. So relievers, here's how rain delays affect you. If it happens like in the 4th inning, the starting pitcher, so if the rain delays happen before the game starts, you get to keep your starting pitcher. So when I have a rain delay, I'm like, did we lose our starting pitcher? So is this a bullpen game from this point on? Whenever the game starts now, it's only bullpen. We hate when we have to do that more. We have to throw more innings than we would have had it not rained. So 1, that sucks for relievers. 2, if you haven't pitched yet, you're almost guaranteed to have to play. So you and position players can't check out, but starters can. So you have to you got to stay mentally locked in for presumably hours longer than you would have had to, which can be exhausting. So one of my favorite things to do when the rain delay was happening was just constantly go to the food room. Whenever I walked back into the clubhouse, everyone would be quietly looking at their phones or playing ping pong or just talking or reading or watching something. And I go, stay locked in! Stay locked in! Just outrageously loud because they're not allowed to hope for the way. And then all we do is we all scroll the weather. We just refresh. And then, but there has been times where the person that is making the decision on whether or not to bang the game, a lot of times is trying to keep people in the stadium so they'll buy concessions because it's kind of a waste if the game doesn't happen, but all the concessions got made, and so they want to recoup some of their money there, and sometimes that means the players have to stay, which sucks. So I hate rain delays, hate them. A lot of people hate them. They're not so bad if you're done for the day at that point, but they suck. Favorite team I played on? It's between the 22 Mets and the 19 Twins because we were good. And then third place, I'll say that last A's team, but that was mostly because I was the old balls man, old balls, and I got to kind of be the vet, which was a lot of fun. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, winning 100 games is always fun. Can you shout out my 10-year-old lefty pitcher son, Benji? Face blue smile. Yo, Benji. What up, man? How you doing? Heard you're a lefty. Correct choice. Hope everything's going good, man. Hope the season's going well so far. Awesome. Ooh, we have a Finlander in the chat. We'll get into that in a moment. Were you a changeup guy? Big changeup guy. Some guys got their preferences, some say neither. I love changeups though. I love off speed. So changeup splitters, forkballs are considered off speed, and then breaking balls are sliders, curveballs, sweepers, knuckle curves, whatever. I loved changeups. Changeup is the first pitch I learned to throw. I learned to throw a circle change. I threw that for a very long time. I threw a splitter for a couple months of my career. It was really good, and I really liked it, but it did give me a stress reaction in my humerus. Ew. So I had to stop doing that. You talking about Scooble with that title. Hey, Decox, you should check out the top of the show. It is recorded over on Foul Territory's channel, so you can go watch it. I did a nice little 20-minute breakdown of Scooble and how he's been pitching, so I would highly recommend you go check that out. I think you'll like it. Greetings, Ergos. Is it say Ergs or Ergos? Ergos. Greetings from Finland. A new fan of baseball. This channel has been my favorite this far. Thank you so much. Please don't leave, ever. Seriously, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. That is the goal. I've been getting a lot of really, really kind comments on YouTube videos. Obviously, there's some dumb ones too, but a lot of people are like, hey man, this is great. I really enjoy this. If you really like something, all you have to do is hey, Trevor, I just want you to know that this specific thing, I enjoy this a lot. There's a good chance it'll get made again. There's a good chance. So yeah. Trevor, Jen question. Do you think that Snicker has lost the locker room? Braves can't seem to get out of mediocrity this year, and a lot of fans are calling for Smith's head. I'd say it's a possibility, but I will also say managers don't have control of locker rooms the way that they used to. And a lot of that comes down, you have to have leadership in a player side. And sometimes when your best players are struggling, it's hard for them to lead. And I will say, I'm gonna have no judgment on this stuff because it's hard. It's really hard. When you don't know what's going on with you or your career and try to figure your thing out, you can't worry about everybody else. But that is a role that a manager should play. And they should be taking an active role in trying to facilitate the way the clubhouse is put together as opposed to maybe running it. So, I'm not a huge fan of firing managers in the middle of the season unless something egregious is happening or there's like a direct, there's insubordination for some reason. There's just the job can't be done with that person anymore because of the way that they are. I just don't think like their methodology, changing it in the middle of the year, does anything to fix the team. It only hurts one guy. I just don't think it's like it never moves the needle ever. Actually, fun fact: Caleb in our writers' room is working on figuring out if that's actually true, and that's something we're going to report on probably the show at some point. Is whether or not teams get better after they fire their managers. But I don't really know. I don't really know. What's the rule on pets in the clubhouse? If it's allowed, what's the weirdest pet someone has brought in? It's case by case. Some people like are single. They're single dudes, and they have a dog, and so their dog can come in. I think it's just within reason, but it's always dogs. Nobody has ever brought anything but a dog. Like we wouldn't ever have like a lizard or a snake or a spider because people are just terrified of those. There's someone who's terrified of it somewhere. So it's always a dog, and in the minors, dogs were around all over the place, which I really enjoyed. So I love dogs. I want one. We'll get one. Yeah. Joe Ryan brings his dog to the Parks and Pips. Yeah, sometimes people just bring their pets for the day and whatever. But it is an option if you need to hang out with them. Also suggesting you should check out Finished Baseball. You really like to. I didn't see the end of that. I will check. Really like to see your reaction to that. Ooh, hey, we need a link. We need links to that. If anyone can find any clips or something, I would love to see that. That's awesome. It's a great question. Did someone ask about my favorite video I've ever made? I'm going to answer that, but with this. Sorry, Dave, if I just overread you. I just did it once. I think the last video you made about the Mets was the most entertaining. I hope you do the same format for other teams. I would love to. I love doing this. That was the hardest I've worked on an edit. I will just say, let's just put it this way. The video, I had to download over 220 different videos for that. So, and I was doing it one thing at a time, which was stupid, and I should have prepped it. But I do want to do more of those in the future. That is one of the videos I'm most proud of, the editing and the writing. And Henry helped me write it, wrote most of it actually, and I just cleaned it up. And he did a great job as well. So I want to make more of that stuff. I will make more of that stuff. But I think my favorite video ever is when I went back, when I did all my candy and my snacks that I used to eat when I was in Little League at the concession stands, and bought them all again and then did a rating. That's still my favorite video, I think, ever. It's still funny. It's just hilarious. I went and watched it the other day. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I want your take on Jacob Wilson. He's a 400 career batting average in the minors. How is he so under the radar? I don't think he is super under the radar. First of all, because his dad was Jack Wilson. So his dad was a very similar player. It's just because he doesn't walk. So it's the same thing like, you know, I'd say Luis Arias, he won 3 straight batting titles in 3 different teams, and he's still kind of under the radar. It's just because power is still the thing that's the most exciting. And he's also an A. So add all those things together. He's on the A's, they don't have a team, their fan base has been chopped down by about 80%. He's playing in a minor league park, he's a rookie, just give him some time. He'll become aware of him more. But he will need to walk more eventually. But his bat-to-ball skills are impressive. He is an impressive player. I love that he is in the league, and I think he's one of our best chances of hitting 400 again. A guy like that is how he's going to hit 400. Power Bar Apple is the best. Well, I got the sour apple one, but it was the goo. The goo is disgusting. Who was one of your biggest strikeouts against in your mind? I had a couple big ones against Acuna. I don't know. There was a big one against Mauricio Dubon my last year with bases loaded up by 2 against the Astros. Punched him out to get out of the inning. Freddie Freeman, there was a big one against him once. Actually, there was a first and second no outs. Freddie Freeman, I punched him out. That was big. And I ended up throwing a 0 in that inning. That was important. There is a video on MLB YouTube channel called Pesipalo, Finland's Answer to Baseball. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. Thank you so much. Trevor, slowest, fastest pitch you ever threw? Slowest curveball, slowest pitch I ever threw in the big leagues was a curveball. I think it was 73, and the fastest was a 99.8, which was 100 on TV. So it was 100. That counts. Are the Cardinals mishandling Sagassi? I don't know. To be honest, that's something I'm not really, I don't know a lot about the situation, but I'm going to check it out, Nathan, after this now. I'm going to check it out now after this now. If you were asked, would you join a WBC team? Probably not. I don't think competitively pitching is in my future, guys. But who knows? Check in 3 or 4 months to see when I'm throwing high 90s again. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do some hitter. Maybe we'll face some hitters. Maybe we'll have some fun. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to get. I genuinely don't know. That's why this is so exciting. I have no idea. I have no idea what is left in this tank. I don't know. All I know is I'm fat. That's all I know. I'm a chub. I'm a gooey boy. Random one. I grew up a Red Sox fan due to being around many people from Mass. Recently decided I wanted to support all my local teams. More Angels. Thoughts on dual fans? I love it. I love it. I had a soft spot for the Red Sox as well growing up because my grandfather was stationed in the Navy in Boston for 4 years. So he became a Red Sox fan when they were bad. And also they had the curse this whole time. So I was a big underdog guy. And then my dad graduated high school in '74 when the A's were good. So he liked the A's. My grandpa loved the Red Sox. And when I was a kid, early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, both of those teams sucked. So it was like, they did, and then they started to get better. So it was easy for me to root for them because they were the underdogs. And now the Red Sox have 4 World Series since then. But like, let's just put it this way. When they came back 3-0 against the Yankees, to this day, and I'm sorry, Yankees fans, I just hate your organization. I just hate the Yankees. I'm always going to probably. And it's just, I think it's just the way that you love them, the rest of the world hates them. Because they're always going to be my villains. But I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. It's funny. If you picked out any player, I like that guy. I like all these guys. I would love to play with them. I think it would be awesome. But there's just something about it. I remember the Mariners getting eliminated over and over. Then I went and started playing. Then I played for the Twins, who have this big thing with the Yankees. I was like, oh God, now I have to hate the Yankees more. And then I went and played for the Mets, who are a crosstown rivalry. I'm like, I'm supposed to hate the Yankees. And then I go to the A's and they're like, oh yeah, the Yankees eliminate us every time too. I'm like, well, they shouldn't beat everybody. So I played for 3 teams that all hate them, and then grew up hating them. So, but in a just like in a rivalry way. Let's just put it that in a rivalry way. I love you guys though. Sure, Yankees fans can be absolutely ridiculous sometimes. All fans can. It is what it is. You like your teams, you don't like your teams, whatever. I wouldn't have it any other way. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, a couple more questions. Any team you wish you played for but never got a chance to? The Seattle Mariners, that would have been awesome. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I know each situation is different, but in general, what is discussed on a mound visit? On TV, it looks like a longer conversation than I could imagine. It's usually scouting reports. Vast majority scouting reports. Sometimes it's nothing. To give a breather. There used to be a lot more frivolous ones. Now it's very specific. It's usually scouting report or like, what's the game plan here? Or the pitch comm doesn't work. Those are the only reasons there's any going. But yeah, a lot of times they're talking about like, hey, look for the bunt here. I want you to get over here. Or look for the pickoff. You might be able to back pick this guy. They're putting on a play a lot of times. Sometimes the manager just wants to yell at the umpire, so they wait for him to come out. So yeah. Would you ever visit every MLB stadium as a fan? Well, I've been to them all as a player, but yeah, I would be open to that. I don't know if that's a bucket list thing for me though, because I've been there. Opinion on Angels picking up Chris Taylor? Why not? Go for it. Go for it. All right, they should. They should. Do you ever pitch against the Blue Jays? I did. I did very well against them generally. Are there any numbers you don't think anyone should wear? Starting pitchers, do not wear single-digit numbers. pitchers, just in general, shouldn't wear single-digit numbers. I think, what is it? I think Brzezinski said catchers and pitchers. Everyone else can. Whatever. I'm a big-ass dude. Every single time I got a jersey, it was like it had to be number 69. Nice. All right. All right, we got one last thing. I'm gonna hit Cool Dude's information or question here, and then we're gonna take off for the day, guys. What do I think of Walker Buehler getting ejected? Thought that was very avoidable and pretty dumb, and it stinks for a starting pitcher to get thrown out. However, I hate it when umpires leave their position. I hate that because they're egging you on. They don't need to walk out there and get close. They don't need to. So I didn't like that. But he was like, hey, stop or I'm going to throw you out, stop or I'm going to throw you out. And then he goes, F you. As soon as you drop an F, you're gone. So, like, he knew at that point, he's like, I just screwed our bullpen. And you could tell. I'll look on his face, like, oh, damn. Now I'm double pissed. So I didn't like the way it was handled. I just wish umpires had a little bit of, like, they had to think, if I leave my position, then I could get in trouble here too, or I could get fined. Like, I don't mind if he comes out, that same thing happens and he tosses him, but then the umpire gets fined for leaving his position. You shouldn't be able to walk out towards the pitcher. And there's only a few guys that do that shit, and it drives me crazy. Laz Diaz, can't help it. Laz has to assert his dominance, and CB Buckner. And you know what? I'm not going to put Laz and CB in the same bucket. CB's by himself. He's tired. I'm tired of him. He's dealing with him it was just like he just was a pain in the ass, just for fun. All the time. He just like made things harder for you just so because he could, which is like what the worst people I've ever met do. But Laz, I think, is trying. He just sometimes gets a little defensive. Though the other day when he got that call wrong for Kristen Campbell, he was like, "My bad. That's on me. I messed that one up. That's on me." You get points for that. You get points for that. Like players, we usually do. Oh yeah, players can get ejected immediately for leaving your position. You're thrown immediately, so there should be some sort of recourse. At least so an umpire has to think about whether or not they want to do it. That's all I'm asking for. Okay, guys, that concludes Mayday for the day. I did enjoy this AMA, guys. I have questions from the community video coming out soon. So all the questions I just answered, plus there's a bunch of other good ones that haven't been answered yet. That it's going to be really great. I do appreciate all of y'all being here. As always, I want to give a special thank you and shout out to our producers today, David Korn, Henry Neiman, and Kaylin Bartholomew. Thank you so much for your help writing the show. My editors, Feeman and Maddie Messina, and my management, Emily Jude, for all the hard work you guys to make this show happen, to make the YouTube happen. Now let's get a little bit of love in the chat for those people that are all involved. The team is growing. Everyone's having a good time. So thank you for being here, everyone. Make sure you drink all your water, watch your baseball. And I will see you next time for Mayday on Monday, June something. I'll see you soon, all right? You guys have a great rest of your week. Let's go baseball. See ya. Bye-bye.